over these afternoon trades. We left about noon earlier, and crude oil had, I think we talked about this, to expect a bunch of chop right here. But then after it hung around settlement, and if you're watching the videos that Daryl does, pay very close attention when he talks about how markets tend to return to settlement at some point during the day, and that's exactly what crude oil did after it went down, and then it came back up to settlement. Okay, it's gone down here to retest the low of the day. Let me get my pointer. I know you can't see crosshair. And came through that a little bit. The this market, the pit closes at 2:30, the open outcry, but this market will continue to trade until 3:45 for day trading. It will stop at 4 o'clock with the Globex, but CME is now closing all these contracts out at 3:45 for the day trading margin. Doesn't mean you can't take your, you can't leave your trade on, but you're gonna then be into the full overnight margin. So anyway, we had a nice morning. One thing that this gave us was up here. It when it went through here, and you're right in front of this, it's cleared this this magnet right here. I wouldn't be, I mean, normally I like to trade crude oil from magnet to magnet, but taking an entry at this magnet southbound with this swing low right here is not a good idea. It's a better idea to wait until it has cleared this, if it's going to, because if it's going to reject this, it will do it right here. And it took a while for this bar to form right here, but it ended up being a lorry slingshot, and from about 48.20 you had a very nice 40 tick drop down to 47.80, and that would have been a very, very nice trade. And Lori points out, and I'm noticing she's absolutely right, not that I doubted her, but I never could see it, and I probably would never have figured it out on my own. But it's the first one of these wicked bars in a trend that gives you a good entry, or that can be an add-on spot. And those things are spot on. The ones that look like this are what Lori calls an elevator, because they go up to about the same level and go back down to about the same level, and then they continue on in whatever direction that was. So, and I know that Lori doesn't like to take the second one of these in a trend, because you then run the risk that you might not get enough ticks as your reward to make the risk of taking that trade worth your while. So those are just some little tips and hints to help you. This is another very wonderful, cool thing. I love this about Apex, because took me a long time to catch on to this deviation indicator. And once you start to pay attention to these mountains, but as this thing went up, and it's going up and up and up, and you wonder, well, how far up is up? And you know that the bus driver likes the top of these range channels. But what also tells you something on here is that this deviation, while it had continued back down the other side of the mountain here, and it started to change color right here, and you have the RSI putting in this peak, that is definitely time to tighten up your stops and be out of your northbound bus for this entire trend. This is another one of these bars right here with a long, if you miss, say, the top of this A or missed your trend catcher ride, then getting in as it cleared the bottom of this range channel, or with this bar right here told you there was a lot more room to the upside on that. So those are just some little things that I notice about reading these charts. I'm still kind of working on this, what's the best and highest use of this 8, 10, 5. I do like the trend catcher confirmations. If I'm looking for an entry, I really like to see the trend catcher tell me, oh yeah, I agree with that. So let's see, we still have the VIX is drifting on down. It's right around 19 right now. We'll see if it clears the 19 mark either later today or tomorrow. And I don't see too much else unless you're a corn trader or you like live cattle or some other wonderful thing. And look at the block trades that just came in right here. Interesting. And all of a sudden we have a bunchy little apex right here. Bunchy little apex tells you that there might be some change coming. So this is definitely not a place to be getting in a trade when you see bunchy little apexes. So tomorrow morning, we've got, there are some people in this room that get up and trade the London session. There's a lot of news at 7 a.m. coming out of London, so that should make some of your trading a little more interesting. For us, we have Canadian news at 8:15 and 8:30, and then unemployment will be out at 8:30. If you trade the indices, I'd be real careful about taking an 8:30 tomorrow morning trade. So, and tomorrow, for all the bond people out there, tomorrow's 30-year auction. 30-year bond auction is tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So there will be some movement in the bond market tomorrow. And anyway, I think that's about all. Brent has gone down here, and it looks like it's done about the same thing as West Texas. It's put in kind of it's tested this 5122 area twice. So we'll see if it blows on through there, then we might have some more downside to crude oil tomorrow. And let's see, the new end, yes, Larry points out, that's very good, Larry. The new indicator, it's called bunchy little apexes. That's for sure. It's kind of like the Marilyn indicator. If I get up and walk away from my computer, I can promise you there's going to be a nice trade for somebody. And I think Triple D has about the same indicator. So that's all I see. I'll be around for a little while. If anybody has any questions or you want me to go back over any charts, just put a note in the room here and I'll try to address those. So with that, this has been my view from my world in Apex land. brought to you by Apex Investing. I'll see you in the morning. Thanks.